Abraham Lincoln is one of the most prominent figures in American history who is best known for his leadership during the Civil War, his efforts to preserve the Union, and his role in ending slavery. However, Lincoln's life was marked by many challenges and tragedies. He grew up poor, experienced the death of his beloved mother, faced the greatest challenge of his career during the Civil War, and ultimately suffered a tragic death. So follow me till the end. There are many surprising facts about him you have to know. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809 in a log cabin in Kentucky. He was the second child of Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks Lincoln, and they lived in a small cabin that Thomas built. When Lincoln was 9 years old, his mother died of milk sickness. This was a devastating loss for Lincoln and had a profound impact on him throughout his life. Despite the challenges he faced throughout his childhood, Lincoln was a bright and curious child who loved to read and learn. He would often walk long distances to borrow books from neighbors, and he developed a lifelong love of reading and storytelling. Abraham Lincoln decided to strike out on his own and build a life for himself in 1830 when he was 21 years old. During this period, Lincoln became involved in local politics, serving as a postmaster, a surveyor, and a store clerk. He also began studying law and eventually became a lawyer himself, which was a foundation of his later political career. In the 1840s and 1850s, Lincoln became increasingly involved in the anti-slavery movement, delivering speeches and writing articles that condemned the institution of slavery and called for its abolition. But one of the most outstanding moments in Lincoln's life occurred in 1858 when Abraham Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas engaged in a series of debates over the issue of slavery. The debates, which took place throughout Illinois, attracted large crowds and helped to establish Lincoln as a prominent national figure. Douglas, a Democrat, defended the concept of popular sovereignty, which allows settlers in the territories to decide for themselves whether or not to allow slavery. Lincoln, on the other hand, argued that slavery was a moral wrong that should not be allowed to expand into the new territories. Although Lincoln lost the Senate race to Douglas, the debates raised his profile and helped to set the stage for his eventual presidential campaign. Lincoln's victory in the 1860 presidential election was the culmination of his political career and the result of years of hard work and dedication to the anti-slavery cause. His election was a turning point in American history as it paved the way for the abolition of slavery and the reunification of the country. However, with Lincoln's victory in the 1860 presidential election, the southern states, which relied heavily on slavery to support their economy, viewed Lincoln's victory as a direct threat to their way of life and their ability to continue to own and use slaves. In response, several southern states seceded from the Union and formed the Confederate States of America, with Jefferson Davis as their president. Lincoln and the northern states refused to recognize the legitimacy of Confederate secession, and tensions continued to escalate. In April 1861, Confederate forces attacked the U.S. military installation at Fort Sumter, located in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina. This attack marked the official beginning of the Civil War, which would last for 4 years and result in the death of over 600,000 Americans. Despite the devastating loss of life, the Civil War ultimately led to the abolition of slavery in the United States and the reunification of the country. Abraham Lincoln's leadership during this difficult time played a critical role in preserving the Union and ending the institution of slavery, making him one of the most revered and beloved presidents in American history. Sadly, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865, just a few days after the end of Civil War, by John Wilkes Booth, a well-known actor who was able to enter the presidential box at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C. The assassination of Lincoln shocked the nation and had a profound impact on America. However, Lincoln's legacy as a leader continued to inspire people around the world. So before I finish this video, let me leave you with Abraham Lincoln's most famous and astonishing quotes. But first, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our breathtaking videos in the future. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. Most folks are as happy as they make up their mind to be. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. He has a right to criticize who has a heart to help. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds.